This video is going to be my highly requested video about my very natural accidental home birth. So if you want to hear my labor and delivery story, then keep on watching. Ooh, la, la. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss anything. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. You already gang. Now let's get into it. Where do I start?
Who requested it?
Get out! Tell us who requested it. Go check the comments of my video, okay? And you'll see who requested it. Thank you. You sound like a hater. You know what? It be your own child. It be your own child that be hating on you. So I actually had my son at 41 weeks and like 4 or 5 days. Like I was really overdue.
In this bed, in this home. I told you I was gonna help you.
Was it your coochie he came out of or mine? Cause just let me tell my story, okay?
Who was there?
Okay.
Huh? Who helped you?
For the past like month or so, like off and on, I would have like contractions, or as they say, Braxton Hicks. So I would just be like, you know, oh my God, tonight is the night. Tonight is the night, the day is the day. I would just think that I'm about to go on labor, and it never happened. Like I've been having labor ever since I was maybe like 7.5 months. And mind you, I had just moved from Florida to DC, so I didn't even get a chance to find a new doctor here. And because I was so late in pregnancy, like when I was calling to find a new doctor, they was just like, they didn't want to take me that late. So at that point, I'm just like, okay, well, whenever he comes, I'm just gonna go to the hospital. I just started researching hospitals, and I found the hospital that I liked, that I said, okay, when the time comes, that's the hospital I'm gonna go to. Okay, so Papa and I, we went down to Georgetown. We just had like a date night. I started having contractions then, but again, like I said, I haven't been having contractions for a whole entire month, but it just would never follow through. My body starts, it kickstarts labor, but I always needed assistance. So my first birth, I had contractions and I went to the hospital, and they had to actually break my water for me to actually continue on.
I told you it's not me, it's him. And you steady, you keep yelling.
I'm trying to do my video.
And you yelling
I'm trying to do my video.
You yelling at me like I'm the one who making noise.
Okay. Let me sit you right here. My second birth, I was actually induced. So they actually had to put a Foley in me to start my labor because I was having contractions again for like a month. Like the rest of the labor path just wouldn't continue. And so I started leaking fluid. So my doctor just went ahead and induced me. I was 39 weeks. My fluid was getting low, and they just wanted to have a better eye on it because then I'd be at risk for complications. So I was induced, and that was like the worst thing ever. Like I wish I would have just said no and then just tried to let her come on her own, because I was in the hospital for like 24 hours before labor actually got to a progressive point. Anyways, that was another story. My point is, for some reason my body just doesn't connect the dots and continue on the process on its own. So I was having contractions all that day, so we went out to eat. We had dinner, we walked around a little bit, did a little bit of like light shopping, and then we came home. And so when we came home, I was just tired. That far in my pregnancy, like I'm already overdue. I felt like he was very low. I felt pressure. Like I couldn't really stand up for long, I couldn't sit down for long, I couldn't lay down for long, and I was just literally like miserable. Like I wanted this baby to come. Like I'm having contractions, but very slow. They were not consistent. Like I would have a contraction and then another contraction, and then like hours would go by before I had another one. So in my mind, it's still Braxton Hicks. So actually when we came back home, I took a shower and then I laid down, and you know, he wanted to still go out and have drinks, and I actually kind of pushed him to go out because I was like, okay, well, this might be your last night hanging out with me being overdue, so go to the bar and, you know, have a few drinks and then come back. Like don't be out too late, because when this baby come, you gonna be here helping me change the diapers or whatever, because yeah. My contractions started speeding up. So this is probably about maybe like 8 o'clock or whatever, but they wasn't like consistent, and they wasn't the 411 or the 511. They tell you 5 minutes apart, lasting for 1 minute, and they're 1 minute apart, or 4 minutes, whatever. 411 or 511, one of those. It wasn't that. They were like hours apart. Like I'm texting him and I'm like, this is it. But again, I said this is it for like the past 30 days. So like, you know, I'm hoping, I'm just at this point, I'm just manifesting it. Like, let this baby need to goddamn come, okay? Because mama is miserable. But like, I didn't really believe it, and neither did he. So then I was telling him, I was like, babe, I think I'm in labor. And he was like, okay, you want me to come now? And I was like, no, it's not really consistent yet. Just go ahead and have another drink and then come. Why did I do that? So I ended up laying down and going to sleep because I thought that when I wake up it will go away, because that's just what's been happening. Then I woke up like at 11, like it was a sharp pain, and I look up and he's still not here. Now I'm like calling him. I'm like, oh my god, you need to get here, like I'm in labor. I don't know the exact time, but I just know like from that point I knew for a fact I was in labor because them contractions was hurting like hell. I'm like waiting for him. I'm like trying to do like all the little stuff on YouTube, the little breathing exercises. I got my birthing ball, bouncing on it, and I'm rotating. I'm doing everything that I've seen because I have been binge watching YouTube videos my whole pregnancy about positive births and natural births and all that. And you know, I always wanted to have a home birth, but I just never thought that it would be possible because one, I had just moved here. I didn't have a physician, and then like, you know, that's a big thing. Most of the people have like midwives, they have a pool set up, they have a schedule and plan. Anyways, back to the story. I was just on my birthing ball. I end up taking another bath. I soaked it there and it's just hurting. So I'm just still waiting for him to come. My contractions are coming too close. They're like 10 minutes apart. He not here. I'm not waiting no more. This baby is not waiting. So I'm like, okay, well shit, I'm gonna just drive myself to the hospital. My teenager is here. She was 15 at the time. She's 16 now. She can watch my 2-year-old, and I'm gonna just drive myself to the hospital. By the time I get my clothes on and grab my coat, I can't even walk through this. Like, how the hell I'm gonna drive? And then what if I crash? So I'm like, no, then I'm gonna catch an Uber. I go outside, get to the elevator, and I'm like, fuck. The last contraction was like 2 minutes apart. My labor had progressed so fast within like a 20-minute span that I just knew I did not have time. I think I came back in the house and I was like, Nene, call 911. I'm not gonna make it. And then she was just like,
911, what's your emergency?
No, I was asleep. This is what happened. I was asleep. Me and Noonie, I think me and Noonie was both asleep.
what?
I was asleep. So I'm like, huh? Like what? I didn't know what was going on. So then I got up, I called them, and then sat on the couch.
Okay.
I was packing her stuff up because she told me to get her stuff ready for her to go to the hospital because she was gonna drive for herself because.
I already said that part. Okay, so I said call 911. I literally like walked to the living room and I was like leaning over the couch. So Nene is on the phone calling 911, and she's like, what do I say? And I'm like, what you mean? What do you say? Say, just tell them that your mom is about to have a baby and I need ambulance to come. They asked me for the address. They asked my name and all that stuff like that. So you was not here, okay? You was inside. You were inside, so you were inside. That's his part of the story. He wanted to tell his story too.
I know.
You were on the inside, so you didn't know all this was going on. Maybe you heard it, but you were not here. So this is not your part of the story. Anyway, so my 2-year-old is up now, but she was concerned. She was following me around the house. So I'm just like, Nene, give her everything. Get anything she wants, just give it to her. She followed around the house crying. She like pulling my hair because I'm trying to drop my face so that she don't see that I'm in pain, because I don't want her to panic. And she's like pulling my hair up like trying to put my chin up, like, you know, like, what's wrong, mommy? And she just crying. She don't know what's going on. My kid's just fucking freaking out, okay?
While she was sitting on the couch, she threw up, and I was like, ugh.
Let me tell the part. So then all of a sudden I just felt like, I felt very nauseous and I just had to throw up. So you see, every time I talk, he talked, but when I stop, he stopped. Anyway, so I was feeling very nauseous, so I literally leaned over and I just threw up all on the floor. Like, I'm like, oh my god, I'm fucking this carpet up, okay? Like, I threw up and it was just coming out. And after that, I was like, okay, I feel a little better. So when I proceed to stand up, the whole time she's still on the phone with them, trying to direct them here. I walk from the living room to the bed and I'm like, okay, this fucking baby is coming. My contractions hitting me back to back. I'm getting like 1 minute apart. I'm like, okay, I don't watch the video. I already know what to do. I don't watch hours and hours and hours hours of labor and delivery births, natural at home birth. Like, I know what to do in my head. This is what I'm telling myself in my head. Like, I'm just mapping it out. Like, girl, you know what you're doing. This your third baby. You know how to push. You know what's going on. Like, stop being scared. Stop freaking out. Let's do this. So I walked to the bed and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just get on all fours. So I proceed to like get on all fours. Like, I put my one hand and one leg up. When that one leg went up, I was mid contraction. So my other leg got stuck. I could not get my other leg on the bed. It's on the edge of the bed, but it's not up on my knee. So in the midst of that, I hear Nene. She kept trying to go back and forth to the front door. Noonie is walking behind her screaming and crying. And I'm just like, give her anything. One of my purse got some gum. She done chew about 22 sticks of gum. I ain't give a good goddamn. Whatever she need to get away from me, just go. Just get it and go. Rewind that. So for some reason, the elevator was not working on our floor. So to get home, we would literally have to go up the elevator, get off on the floor before hours, go in the stairs, and then come home. And they were supposed to fix that within 24 hours, but it had to been like 2 days. So she was like telling them that they had to go on the stairwell to how to get to me. The whole time I'm like, oh my God, this baby's coming. My anxiety like just made me think of like 1,000,001 wrong things that can happen in 1 second. And so I'm just like, damn, what if I'm pushing and the foot is hanging out? I was scared. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was really, really scared because I'm just like, first of all, I never did this before and I can't even see down there. So, you know, like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Like, I could kill myself, I could hurt the baby. Like, I don't know. But it was like, I just had that urge to push. I'm trying to like listen to hypnobirthing music I had playing on my phone. I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna just do this. And so I just pushed and I was just like, oh, and then I heard a and I felt like something pop. Like, mind you, I had never had my water break naturally. I've always had my last 2 pregnancies, I had my water broke. My water broke. And I'm like, oh my God, Nene, I'm fucking this bed up. So I was like, Nene, grab some towels. And you was like, oh my God. Well, I said I want to be an OBGYN. And you just suited up. And I was like, just go grab some towels. So she went and grabbed a bunch of towels and like stuffed it under me. So she went back to the door to see if, you know, they was coming up. So that's one push. So I felt the urge to push again. Still on all 3s now. And I feel his head come out. His head was all the way out, but my vagina was like stop right around his neck. I'm telling myself, okay, you got about 15 seconds to rest and then you gotta push again. I took a deep breath and then when that contraction came again, I just literally just let my body just follow nature. And he just came out and flopped on the bed. And like in that moment, I felt relief. Like, I was so tired and exhausted. I felt like there was a lot of work. When he came out, it was just like this undescribable feeling. Like, it was like, I don't know, I just felt the relief. If I could describe it as anything, I felt like it was like a warm relief. It was just like, oh, he out. But he wasn't making no sound. But I could not get to him. So I'm just like, shit. I'm like, I don't know if something's wrong. So literally as soon as I push him out and he flopped down like on the bed, Nene came in the room like the next second. And she's like, Mommy, the baby's on the bed. And I was like, I know, I pushed him out. And yet I was like, get him. I said, can you get him? And you was like, he was all slippery and stuff. You couldn't grab him.
But I picked him up and I tried to clean him off a little bit and I handed him to you.
Yeah, you had to grab him with a towel because he was just so slippery. I mean, he had all that stuff on him.
Remember?
She flipped him over. And then when she flipped him over, and as soon as like he got on my chest, I seen he was okay. He still didn't cry.
And Noonie
didn't cry at all, did he?
And Noonie was right sitting
at that point,
next to you.
When you came back in the room, Noonie came around the bed right here. And she was like right here. This is my head right here. And she was just like she was trying to console me with her 22 sticks of gum in her mouth. So she was just over my head. I was holding the baby, and like in a matter of seconds, the firefighters, the paramedics, and Papa walked in, and they were just like, oh my God, you did this by yourself? I said, well, my 15-year-old helped me. Like, you're a goddess. Like, you pushed this baby out? And I was like, yeah. And they were asking me, am I okay? So Dad was standing, like, they had the bed right here, so he couldn't really get in. He was just standing at the door over it, but he was just looking at me, and I'm just looking at him like, they was like, is it a boy? And I was like, I hope so. Can you check? And mind you, he landed on me this way, and all the paramedics did was like, yep, definitely a boy. I was like, oh my God. And it's like, okay, we're gonna take you to the hospital and we're gonna get you checked out, Mom, okay? And I was just like, okay. And so I told her to grab my coat, grab my wallet, stick it in my coat pockets. And so they put me on the bed. I was still holding the baby at that point. I put the blanket over the baby's head. Mind you, I'm still mad at Dad because where the fuck were you at, okay? So he trying to look at the baby, and I'm like being very petty. Like, I'm covering the baby with the sheet. I had the sheet on me and I had the coat on me, and they just pulling me out. Cue the footage. So right now you can see that I'm literally like just being rolled out on the gurney or whatever. So that's what happened. Yeah, so then we get an ambulance and we go to the hospital. And when we get to the hospital, like the flashing lights and alarm, and then everybody was kept yelling, cold stork, cold stork, cold stork. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And all the attention is on me. It's like 15 to 20 nurses and doctors or whatever staff just out in the front waiting for me, and like I felt like a full queen. So they rolled me into the room, start, you know, hooking us up on machines to check our vitals and all that stuff like that. And then they was like, okay, we got to cut the cord. So we lift the blanket up, and I had poop all up my leg. Okay, he shitted on me. Okay, he came into this world and shitted on his mama. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. So they let dad cut the cord. Mind you, I'm still like giving him the evil eye, like, you know, but I'm not saying that. At this point, it's only like 5 of them in the room right now. Like some of them was like trying to pay attention to the baby, some of them trying to pay attention to me, put my IV in, do all this stuff. It was just so much commotion going on, so much noise. So when they cut the cord, they took the baby over there, and then they was like, okay mom, we gotta place the placenta out, we're gonna check you out. So they start pushing on my stomach. When they was pushing on my stomach, this is kind of gross, but like a big clot like this size came out of me. And all of a sudden, like, I heard like one of the nurses was like, oh my gosh, she's hemorrhaging. Oh my gosh. They was like, oh my god, you never heard this part. They was like, oh my gosh, she's hemorrhaging. And then before you know it, it was like so many like doctors in the room, so many nurses in the room, and I'm looking around like, what's going on, what's happening? Everybody was just looking at me, and they were just like, you could tell like it was panicked. And I looked up and I looked at his face, and I seen the panic on his face, trying to get out of my mind. I'm just like, okay, whatever, let me just look and see what my baby's doing. I'm not gonna look at all these people staring at me. At this point, it had to be like 20-30 people in that room, and everything from that moment was just like a blur. Like I just felt, I was terrified, honestly. They actually weighed the clot and everything. In the end, it turned out to be like, it wasn't like a big deal, but that nurse's reaction just triggered everything. And then, like I said, I'm the type of person that thinks about 1,000,001 things that can go wrong. And like, I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna die? So that was a scary part. And yeah, so I ended up having a natural birth at home, and we are here now. My baby is 4 months, and I'm just not doing this video, so I'm sorry that it's just not getting to you, but you know, I'm a busy mom and it's been a lot going on. So yeah, I hope you like this video, and if you want to see more of what I got to say, do whatever, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Just talk to me in the comments, like I talk back. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and I hope that you like the content that I have to share, and just keep on watching. Okay, bye.